Better. How do? Get that. David Super T-shirt. See if anyone's going to drop in. Yes, Shadow. It tells me no viewers, but you are here. Easy, brother. Check out that thumbnail. It's a sexy thumbnail if ever I've seen a sexy thumbnail. I hope you like your blue and your circles, your notices, your not ices. Do you not ice? Yes, off ice, pole ice, pole ice. So we've been in the office. As soon as I finished from the tradesman duties, I was straight on it. I ended up being an agent today. I interfaced with our friends at JBW, collection agents for a traffic infraction. I had full authority. There was a code word given, and I interfaced with an agent on the telephone, of which I can't bring you any news because it's ongoing. But at the point of my representation, I pointed out that there has been conditional acceptance, accounting to serious dispute, and vulnerability raised. Then several emails sent. Whilst that was going off, I'm afraid that some officers may have turned up for collection and entered said property and tried to collect. So no names are mentioned. I will mention rogue agents or mistakers, companies, corpses that make a lot of mistakes. If we're not here to capture these mistakes, they go unnoticed. Who's policing this? Not the police. They assist them. So there is no backup for man at this moment. So know this, scribes, family, man, United Kingdom, Anglo, souls, Charmen, tribesmen, sisters and brothers, that these collection agents, that's what they are. They're not bailiffs. They're men in dark uniforms. Sometimes women, when mostly male though. They're us. They're our brothers and sisters, our family. So if you do know one of these, not necessarily with that company there, but anybody that collects, then I would argue that they are us. There is no difference. Yeah, they've got to go out and earn money, but you need to help us protect them, because these agents, off-icers, policy followers, have entered private property, trespassed. Now, if you conditionally accept and accounting to dispute, then there's an issue. So if you have an infracted, you've served them properly, and you've got a civil issue that's trying to be resolved, and then you lawfully handle it, and then they breach something, then there is no case, because now a crime being committed to enforce a policy. You see, the crime is here and the policy is here, civil and criminal. So interesting, not nice, and it's all about notices. So you may all have seen these sometime in the past before in the form of yellow and black. So that's your legal notice that we have redone. I will read it out to you. And this is your lawful notice with private trust property. Two different ones. You can operate legally. You can operate that legal commercial notice. And if you have protected your asset and it is in fact in a trust, you are allowed to go law, because the trust will be not a legal trust. It may be a private lawful trust. It may be many types of trust. It could be an express private trust, and it could be another trust, so it depends. But private trust property, no matter what trust it's in, points it out to the agent. So you may have seen these. I believe Brother Serge knows the man who had a helping hand in this. He did mention to me some time ago about the doctrine of notice, and I believe a brother called Mick. I'll catch up with Serge and I'll ask him. I have sent him these on WhatsApp to tell him what G-Star and I have done today. You will see the PCN monologue that I'm doing and video coverage of PCNs and my willingness to interact with them, and somewhat idiotic, but I want to test it out and give you first-hand knowledge. So these are not something that I've displayed before. and they're not something that I've used before, but I have shown them to several folk across the realm over the last year or so, 2 years, 24 months, and they're going to be uploaded to the .com this evening before man goes to bed. Now, at the heart of equity lies the doctrine of notices. And I don't know whether you have noticed, that we have noticed, but they haven't noticed, we've noticed, their notices. Their notices are based on that same doctrine. So if you have agreements and you have notices and you have trustees, you have beneficiaries and certain things here with debt and assets and property and ownership, then stands to reason that we can use the same game as they use. And if you're outside in the private, but you're operating privately outside in the natural environment, the outside of your front door, we call it the public by default. But a shout out to Mark Pazio and his latest video. Wow, that's an angry, frustrated man. I know how you feel, Mark Pazio. Anybody that doesn't know of Mark Pazio, this will be lost on you. But it looks like Brother Mark's about to blow one. He's swearing, going on about natural law, how everybody's got the natural laws wrong, and the free man of the land and certain movements are on this wrong. But in the outside realm, I agree with you there, Mark, brother, where you've explained natural and and the word itself, the etymology of the word natural. I urge you after this, or if you're watching this later on and not live, then future scribes and present scribes, Mark Pazio, and the video that he did. Thanks to Brother John of the Middleton tribe for mentioning on last night's cast that he'd just seen What on Earth with Mark Pazio. Thank you, John, for that nudge. I did go and watch half of it before I passed out. You got me quite excited. Mark's on it. He's a clever man. We love you, Mark. I love you, Mark. And thank you for what you said yesterday. So outside that front door, in what was formerly known as the general public, which is the general public, but isn't, us not being public in the public, it operates on notices. And notices, notice of an equitable charge on a mortgage. Notice to agent is notice to principal. Notice to principal is notice to agent. The Catholic doctrine, the legal doctrine, the medical doctrine. Look what a doctor in is, a doctrine. Yeah, and this is the way that, I won't tell you what Lord, but one of the Lords did say that at the heart of equity, lies doctrine, notices, and equity refers to property, rights, access. So you would notice in public for various and many things as you are becoming aware. So what you would look at doing is either having, I am having, that has been placed into the Iron Horse, the Turan, and that's what you can screenshot that and get yourself a look at that and see. Previously in the realm of this, version 1, version 0.0 of this, it said vehicle. Now, if you're talking law and you're talking private and you're talking asset, property, then you're not talking vehicular. Oxymoron. So we took vehicular out for everybody, family, don't mention it, it's okay. And we put in automobile. Anything attached to this automobile without prior written consent will be removed by force, if necessary, and will incur a removal fee of £5,000 payable on demand. Then, what you've got after that payable on demand, you have a space. And on that space line there, which wasn't there before in version 0, version 1, but it is in the SPO's one, there's a little dotted line. The text is all in blue, you'll notice there's no dead ink there, there's no black. There is some capitals, I'm not sure about that being capital and that being capital, the rest is little. There is some capital letters. I did argue with G-Star, it should all be lowercase, but maybe version 2 will be lowercase. I digress. On that little line there that you see very, very fine, that says chassis or insignia number. With trust property, when you're making a document and you're referencing an asset with regards to putting it into trust and protecting it, what one must do is reference it specifically and not make it general. So if you reference your Iron Horse and you use a registration plate, what have you done? You've made an error. You would have used a driver vehicle licensing agency identification plate as the identifier of your private Iron Horse automobile. So what one should consider is looking at chassis numbers, looking at not the registration, any modifications, anything that makes it unique, anything on the engine, accessories, and different colour paint job, wears and tears, cuts, marks, dents, anything, all that kind of jazz. So what you put in that gap there then, on the lawful and the legal notices, they've both, not that you can see them, but they've both got the gaps on. They put the legal one up. We've done that the same, more or less word perfectly the same, except legal, not lawful, depending on your choice. We're not going to tell you what to do. I'll give you both options. But the capitals I'm not happy with. Underneath that, chassis number or notice is inexcusable. So that's just the, alongside the notice to agent, principal, notice to principal agent. Under the doctrine of notices, somebody at one of our seminars who's a teacher of trust and equity, he said, this is excellent. Where did it come from? Not this version, but the one previous to that we was talking about. So, as I've been in touch with JBW and let them know there's an issue there and we need to discuss it. They've not rightfully got access to goods and orders. Well, we don't have goods, therefore market. That's the commerce part. The public, the trade is private, and the market, goods, orders, taking control of Goods Order Act. So we're going to have to start issuing a few orders of our own to the Club of Rome. We're going to have to let some of the establishment know we got an issue, and if we can find some remedy to that. In the interim period, these two lawful and indeed legal notices will be uploaded to the .com with a little bit of text as some guidance and instructions to laminate afterwards so they last a bit longer. And you can do as you choose. You do not copy or emulate. You do as you see fit and as you would like to choose. So you can act legally and you can act publicly. You can act honourably. And you can act privately, which would be lawful. If you have protected your asset and you've put it in a trust, then the lawful notice with the private trust property would be most suitable for that asset and horse there. Automobile. Conveyance begins with CON. Well, that's why I've not used conveyance. Convict. We've talked about the con and the words and the etymology, the origins and so forth and so on. Again, you could copy this, design your own, and put one you want. So then if there is a yellow and black edition contract that has been affixed to the windshield or the automobile, when you're displaying that, then you've got grounds and argument of the 5,000 payable on demand. So the UK, United Kingdom and their corporations are based on contract law, and the contract law is governable by the Trading Standards Authority, and like the Information Commissioner's Office, as Kevin's brought to us, and you can get reports put in, you can get them fined, you go through alternative dispute resolution. The lady that advised me that I can't dispute via email and I must fill out a form and accept the ticket, lied to me. And I told her she lied to me. I told her she was being recorded. I said it's a civil issue at the moment, but it's about to go into criminal. So much like the agents, now there's an agency and it's running a corporation. So the corporation, Marston's, JBW, got backache. If you do that, it sorts it out. There are other collection agencies available, but not ones that I've dealt with. And I've dealt with more, but I'm pulling up blanks. But these agencies and CEOs, you need to recognise that the ones you've got working for you on the telephone that aren't legally or lawfully trained, that told me today, and normally they're right, I was waffling on. I have the recording, and the brother, sister, the anonymous that I was representing today in an agency capacity can bear witness to this, and they told me I did very well, and I gave a cease and desist. I confirmed the conditional acceptance. I confirmed the account into serious dispute. When I pointed out vulnerability, the agent asked me what was vulnerable and what were the reasons. So I pointed out X, Y, and Z, 3 points, and they said that wasn't vulnerable. And I said, no, it's not for you to judge or decide. I'm not asking you to award me vulnerability. I, David, the agent here today, talking to Mr. X, the agent on behalf of, in this case, JBW, I'm telling you that there is vulnerability, and you have been given first-hand knowledge of 3 separate areas of vulnerability. I'm not giving you time to consider that. You are being instructed and informed as an agent today. Do you understand? And he said, no, I don't understand. Said, well, nevertheless, notice to agent yourself is notice to the principal, the CEO, and the notice to the CEO is notice to the agent. If you're not trained, you're not privy to that technology, language, and agreement, you will give this call recording to your call manager, and they will see to it that the seniors get the information and act accordingly. And if they don't, it will be under their full public commercial liability for counterclaims and damages. That's how this business works. You know, we're here today to do some business, so I'll continue on. And I explained that when you send agents out to a private residential habitual address property in their eyes, and the account has been put into dispute, accepted, and vulnerability given, and representation made in a non-conformal contracting fashion, they failed to action on that. Now, there's governance of the United Kingdom that say that these agents have got to be licensed, registered, trained, blah, blah, blah. And if we act in honour, then that stops all, that stops levies, that stops collection, that stops enforcement altogether until the dispute is resolved. Now, that's not an appeal, that's not a submittance, that's a dispute. Man has disputes. Arthur Scargill, Margaret Thatcher, trade union, minor strikes, disputes. Man gets out, equity acts in personam, we dispute. And the dispute was done accordingly. That somebody, like I said, regarding the smart motorways, some agent doesn't put the red X up on the lane, some agent doesn't fill in the file properly, then the other agents that don't work directly for these bottom feeding collection agencies, they come to collect. And as they make peaceful entry, there's a door. This is peaceful entry, by the way. And for those of you that don't know, and that's why we've done it this way, because we think we're getting better. Peaceful entry is this. The door is ajar, but it is not open, okay? It's just ajar. Imagine that's a front door, a side door, back door, whichever door they want. And you have got an agent attending the property, and on this occasion, you are upstairs having a shower. There is no one in the property. You are the only inhabitant, and you're upstairs and you're having a shower, and there may be vulnerability, like there was in this case. There may be conditional acceptance, and there may be account into dispute. And this happens. Imagine. Oh, we're in. Come on, we're in. Come on, let's go. And you're upstairs having a shower. Yeah, and you've done everything properly. You're not a criminal. You haven't been to a court of law. You haven't been judged by a judge. You haven't been, judged guilty. And you're under all these assumptions and presumptions of what we'd now call rogue agents. And you get out the shower because you hear a rumble downstairs. You might think your husband's back. You might think the kids are back. You think it's 10:10. Everyone should be at work, being a slave, and at school, being indoctrinated. What's going on? And you get out, and there's men in black coming up the stairs, and you've got a towel around you dripping. Well, they think they're in the right because they've got in peacefully, and there's alleged warrant and, order for collection, goods order. And, wow, then imagine that. And then the husband finds out, or if the husband comes back, and they could be. So, just for money accounts, as I've said, please see the video that I've uploaded called Bankruptcy that ties into this beautifully. When it comes to these debts and charges that we haven't been informed about, strange men coming into an Englishman's castle for a bit of debt, for some account administrative error. My granddad and grandma could see this now. They would be furious. And if their fathers and mothers could see this, and the veterans from the world wars, yes, and all of the colonial sacrifice that we've done. Mark Pazio, I love you for saying that slavery, including debt slavery, is fundamentally fueled by man's ethical conceptualization. And he does get a bit aggressive. Please, if you've not seen Mark Pazio, then don't judge him on this video that he made just yesterday or the day before. What on earth is going on? His most recent one, say the one from yesterday. I don't know the number, I was too tired. You'll work it out. He talks about the natural law, and he talks about man and debt and slavery, and he says that animals aren't conscious enough to have this relationship with the common law, where if you hurt or break the common law, the natural laws, these are the immovable laws, the impugned laws, imputed laws that are what did he say now? Immovable, and they are the same all across the you and I verse. And they are laws of, say, gravity, if that was, to be a law, if it is a law, then that law, the laws of magnetic, the laws of attraction, the laws of how atoms interface and work, the laws of radio, the laws of everything that's here as a law, as a science that we don't see is transferable. 2 plus 2 being 4 means 2 plus 2 being 4, etc. Even when, you don't think about it, we have these ways and mindset, and Mark hit it right on the head when he said that man doesn't have the conceptualization. When we think about natural law, we think about Darwinism, and it's it's not about that. Natural laws, the universal hermetic principles that we brought to you are very key, and we are locked in our own perpetual cycle of not being able to break out, and he puts it very, very well. So I'm not going to go on about Mark Pazio on this one, but I am impressed, and I am seeing a broken man that's desperate at his wit's end, very, very clever, does 9-hour seminars, in 3-hour parts. That's something I aspire to do. But asset protection and these laws and natural laws, you are as king, and you are a creditor. You have got a lot to offer, and you've got a lot to fight for. And the dishonour of this war that is, an administrative war. It's a war of offices, of officers, of policy, not ISIS, and notices, and doctrines, and capitalistic. So you protect how you want to protect, you speak how you want to speak, you write and you communicate as you see just. This is not lawful or legal advice. This is go home, Club of Rome, stop stealing our shit advice. These officers that get up and put a uniform on, don't have anything to work upon other than authority, inherent authority that comes from an author, that ultimately will stem from a book that will come from the hand of man. Now, Mark Pazio and his natural law, I for one really want to hook up with you and have a heavyweight hangout on just that principle, the principality, and the deepness of life, the science, the 0 point, the cause and effect, the principality, the consciousness itself. Animals, they're not affected by the scales of, animals fighting food and attacking each other don't have the karmic retribution that us as a sentient consciousness sapient society have. And he says we're way behind, we're very retarded, this stuff is child's play, literally child's play. We got in it for the blood and the children, which are our assets, which are our sons and daughters. So this is asset protection again, and if you have this capability to understand the notices, the doctrines, the law and the legal, the separation of that, the public and the private. So if you're operating in the public and you're operating in commerce, then that will do just for you. If you are a tradesman and a builder or whatever, a white van man, then you can have your own legal notice. Then after you learn a bit of the technology and you put that private property, iron horse and automobile into a trust, you can swap that first one and have that one put up. And then when you communicate, we will teach you the status, standing and capacity and how to reset these constructed statutory public legal trusts. Legal is not what we would interface in. There are legal trusts, and there are trusts of England and Wales, the United Kingdom, And I'd say that there are further trusts of man that are further deeper. The Almighty and I and you have our own trusts. That's not legal. That's not canons. That's not uniform. Remember, commercial codes, uniform commercial codes. Yes. And it's not admiralty, it's not maritime, UCC, ecclesiastical, legal, it's not lawful. It's a different kind of trust, it's a different kind. So like Andy was speaking last night with his passages from and how he brings it and he homes it back in. That's where we're at. That's what we're doing here. So where the roar is, the tiger, Club of Rome, that's what attitude we've got. Yes. And there was something else I wanted to bring to you. Rogue agents, criminal actions, enforcing policy, theft of property, assumptions and presumptions, intimidation. It's getting out of control. You know, when it happens to vulnerable, handicapped, elderly. Can you imagine if it was your grandma or if it was your mum or if it was your sister, something happens, and what if they, you know, if they cause harm and injury, then it's too late for what? For a few pennies on an account, for a local government tax, for a penalty charge notification, and look at all the harassment we get. But yet there's all other stuff that needs sorting out that doesn't get sorted out, that doesn't get this investment, that doesn't get this kind of administrative focus on it. So why is this system so intent on glorifying civil issues? If you have put your wheels or your hooves of your horse on some double yellows, or you've overstayed some time in a car park on the cement, on the, you know, the mind that's meant to be the sea, yes, incredible, big deal, you know. It's not the crime of the century, it gets blown out of proportion, but yet the schools, they're crumbling. We've got the news saying about the underfunding of families, of credits, of wealth, of pensions, of universal credits, and they get at school something like £2.90 for a dinner, and a bottle of water is 90p. Takes them down to £1.90 for a dinner, and yet I believe water falls from the sky and should be free. So why is the school now charging our offspring 90p per 500ml for water coming out of a poison plastic bottle and leaving them for the dinner? It should all be free. We have the remedy there. It's a private remedy. It is actually public, but it's for you in the private. The general public can never access that remedy. So you see why we go private, everybody. When you go private, you go law, and that's real law. Now, one would argue common law, but common law, that's public. You're right, because you've got your Westminster Statutory, Whitehall, shit. Harm, injury, loss. No fraudulent dealings in the private, bosh, private, original covenant with man. So no legal, no Trustees Act 2000, no ecclesiastical, maritime, admiralty, unified commercial code, all gone. Yeah, and if you're that bothered about what we're going to do with the economies and that, like I've said, we get the TDA accounts and the claim of rights hooked up to an Android thing or an iPhone, and you put your thumb on and you transfer via endorsement. Boom, there you go. That's how we do it. Oh, the gods are loving it. They're smiling on us now. We need the crypto kids, the indigo workers, community ideas, and further work. These documents, as I promised, it will be a late one. I'm going to crash out for a couple of hours, and when I resume, I will blurry out, as I often do, upload more documents and put some words there of advice on which one and what capacity they are for, and then we will put them up and see how many downloads we get. Once you've downloaded it, you are free to give it out to your family, to your friends. We don't say only the ones on the .com can have leads. I want to see these everywhere. And when I see them everywhere, we will know that you know, and I will know that you know that I know that you know. You know what I mean, Ari? Anybody got any comments or anything to say? Hit us with it. I'm going to enjoy this. I'm just checking for spelling mistakes and things like that, as often is the case. Errors, omissions accepted. Know this: doing nothing renders you under the assumptions and presumptions. Doing something starts you on the road of defence, you know, due diligence, discovery, honour, rebuttal, and standing tall and standing proud. So this is child's play compared to, you know, April, Alderhay, what we did what we looked at doing, the gravitas, the emotions, the, you know, look, I'm doing that already. It's just, yeah, it's just the thought of it. So wheels, engine blocks, not really a big deal. But if you live in it, and that's your place where you live, and you know, you haven't got a big family and you might be on your own, then these guys telling you, oh, we're going to put a tracker on your van, yeah, that's intimidation, that's harassment, that's threatening, that's common law assault. I've got a list of 20 things what I can throw at you for that, just that one thing alone. So they need to know, they need to watch out, and you share these, you give them out, you know, inform, let them know, no liability with them. You can edit them, take them, bin them, burn them, change them, or just use them as we'd like to think you would, at your peril barrel not to. And when we say not to, if you don't think about how to, like your will, testament, well, as we said yesterday, probate, intestate, intestacy, can never say that one, and how they manage that and look at it and presume, then ignorance is no defence. What? Man who doesn't know he has any rights, therefore has no rights. Send him down. What? You know, we don't act like that. That's why we have these interactions and why we try so much. But there is a time very soon where we're going, and the channel's not getting shut down and it's not getting archived, but it will be slowed. And when we get to where we want to get to, then I'm having a break, let me tell you. I'm having an holiday. I'm not getting an island. We're having a party. We're getting a sound system. We're inventing hydrogen, solar power, 0 point, organic, water. What's the one now? Water structure, restructuring, refractualized water, imploding water, magnetic water, copper, magnets, everything the government didn't give us that we know is out there. Eric Dollard, Nikola Tesla, Hutchins, and all of that. Victor Grebnikov, so much what you should be doing that we can't be doing. Inventing, making better, helping, educating correctly, not the wrong way. You know, Darwin is a theory. Darwin and the evolution and how that happened, it's an insult to man. And the Smithsonians and the giant skeletons and the bones and everything, all where we're at, it's on you. It's on you. If you think all there is just to get up and obey and pay and sleep, get up, obey and pay and sleep, get up and stick to that, and great, you're going to enjoy the future. Indeed you are. Let's say hello to the lovely scribes, and then it's pass out time, let me tell you. Shadow was here, yes, comment, Tony, Shadow. Nearly finished, Anne-Marie, how long's it been? 20 minutes, I need that. Please, I'm for the phone. It's my little stand. It's my stand, I do this and I put it there.
I need a kitchen.
You need the kitchen. It is your kitchen. Tony, Shadow. Yardy. They say, ho ho. I can't read sign language. That's right, brother. We don't read sign language, but the officers do. The establishment does. They're not entering into a private contract. This is a notice in the public. This isn't any trust document. This is just a shot off in the dark, a warning shot. Like I said to G-Star, the only thing there is the capital letters, but we can change that overnight. That's not a problem. I want your thoughts and feedback. So, Eye of Creator, for the first chat that we've had today, I take that and I say thank you. I hope Serge is okay. He's good. We're looking after each other. Don't worry, Shads. Don't you worry. The fam looks after one another. Thank you, Ron. I use one of them for my car, for your horse or automobile. We're getting there. The cognitive dissonance runs strong in all of us. Don't worry, they've really programmed us for a long time. The council has stopped giving me tickets. Daily private trust. Daily private trust. Twice in there, but nice one. Thank you for that admission. I like that. Thank you very much. So that sign language clearly works there. And you don't have to worry too much in the initial offshoots, but we will look to perfect and get it verbatim, you know, and we are kicking ass for the Lord. Shivite Jagannath, Shiva Boom Om. Yes, all is awesome. How you doing? Thank you. Obviously the notifications are working. There's 32 scribes in. 7 thumbs up. If you're new, please give me a thumb up and consider subscribing. That's right, I have created that notice has mixed jurisdiction. That's right, well done. What is it? Ancient.gstar. I have 10 mins, but I'm here. I told you, Greg, didn't I? Look at I have creator and the fam. So no capital text is the file that we shall use. And luckily for you lot, we have a file and it has no capital text. You have passed the test. Didn't know I have creator would be giving you a head start and a boost there, but never mind. All is good. Ancient dog Latin and you know, italics, underline, bold, inner box. Yes, we know about them. What are your thoughts on the Common Law Court of Law as a member? As a member of that, I'm in the Common Law Court now under the Almighty. Yeah. So, what are my thoughts of it? We're all common law sheriffs. We have a duty and obligation to carry that out. So, I don't know what my thoughts are. I'm doing the best I can in the realm of the Club of Rome and the deceptive that's out there. Great work, guys. Yes, Tony, it will be perfected. I want you all to be happy with it. I want you all to have an input. Legal criminals, that's right, Ron, indeed. Colonial means slave. Yes, Shadow. Where did you get that from? You've been swallowing a dictionary. Easy, Andy. In the Encyclopedia of Britannica, 1869, under arts and sciences, legal means the undoing of God's law. Yes, it does, Dean. Well done. You can no longer Google as it's been removed. But if you have the Encyclopedia of Britannica, 1869, there was a post in SPOs on their Facebook some years ago about that, and they used the page as well to give the substance over the form. Hello, Philip of the Beaten fan. Much love to URC Childs. Yes, Jerry, agreed. Indeed. Thomas, hey ho. Yes, there are too many that will roll over and take it. Sharpie, Sparky, but that's what the system will be feeding off. And those that don't have the eyes and ears and don't look at protecting property and assets, then ban all face coverings with immediate effect. That's quite political, but you have a right, you have a voice, and imagine that being done here. Sri Lanka, yeah, peace and love to the ones that have lost. The new Sinn Féin, we've covered that and what our thoughts are on that. We condemn it all. So everybody has rights and to be respected. When we don't respect anybody's rights, then that's when we start having a problem. So as long as their rights are respected and they don't interfere with anybody else's, my rights end where yours begin, then we are good. The system is falling down. We call that Babylon crumbling. Yes, indeed. We are helping each other on. That's what the family does. Jones is in the house. Careful, careful. Evening all. Have I missed out? Stephanie, yes. You'll have to rewind. We're just finishing up. Easy, John. Thank you for that link yesterday. You'll have to see the beginning of this video for what I said about it. I can't repeat. Yes, you've got a notice on your door of access. So at your habitat, visitors and canvassers are seen strictly by appointment only. I like the sound of that. Well done. Well done, my son. All rights of implied access, rights of implied access have been removed. Yes. Africa Burning Guts on YouTube. This is horrific history where the All Caps killing slaves because of the deception of. What's that, Jonesy? I feel for you, brother. Sounds similar to something I've seen. I have one of the same notice for years. Works a charm every time. A new scriber with more substance. Hello there. Right here. Bosh, thank you for that admission. And yes, even with the glosser and the dogma, even though G-Star, I told you, brother Andy, and maybe some others, that are future ones that are familiar with hieroglyphs and dogma, mixed jurisdiction, like we pointed out with the documents that we did get from that domain that is no more. It's no longer free. You get me? So thank you all, and yes. They are working. They work when they said vehicle on them, and they're not vehicles. They work when they say conveyance on them, and they're not conveyances. The point being is that the man on the street is not the judge, is not the principal, is not the executive. They just read it. So because they just read it, they get a bit scared. They think, oh, I'll just do the next one, or they might do it, or they might not. But they're not going to stand there and know what we know and pull it apart like that. But to be word perfect and to lead by example, then we will make the perfect lawful trust prepared document, don't you worry. And we was going to involve you in it, and we've accomplished that in this video, so stand by. And G-Star, I told you, thank you. Yes, that lady there, that new subscribe, Eli, hey, I'd love to know how you say that properly, no spamming. Just logged in, Easy Alan. Erig Air Ah. Pronounced Erig Air Ah. Oh, thank you. Nice one, Jerry. Beautiful. Andy. Word against it, I don't believe that. Language, that's it. Yes, so stand by. Thank you very much.